Hey there, goblins. Welcome, welcome.
Is this Goblin Salvage Rites?
Hey there, goblins. Welcome to Goblin Salvage Rites. My name's Robert.
And I am Erik.
And today we're going to be talking about
Alien Core.
Starfinder. The more I read about this setting, the more excited I am.
The setting or the rule set?
The setting. I already like
Really?
Rules. We already know I like the rule set.
Okay.
But the more I read about the setting, the more like hodgepodge like the kitchen sink it is, the more I realize that there's parts of sci-fi that I've always wanted to game in and haven't had the opportunity to.
Yep.
And there are monsters in this book that pull on heartstrings I forgot existed.
Yeah, I felt like I was seeing like aliens in here, Mothership in here. I was seeing, Power Rangers in space in here.
But then super goopy stuff, which is amazing. So what we're going to be doing is like a first reactions top 10 of the new Monster Core for Starfinder. Erik and I haven't played really any Starfinder ever. We're super
second edition. I played and ran some first edition stuff, so I'm not an expert in that.
Yeah,
but SF2.
We've had a pretty cursory exposure.
Yeah, we read it
to Starfinder in general. So we're pretty excited for this. A lot of this stuff is probably old to a lot of you goblins. I'm guessing there's a bunch of monsters that are just rehashed in second edition.
Yeah.
But it's all new to us.
Yep.
So that's really exciting. Before we get into the topic, though, we want to talk about Patreon. We have a bunch of wonderful patrons available. Links for it are in the down the doobly-doo. We are starting a brand new Patreon tier. It's really exciting. Erik is dipping his toes into professional GMing. So what we're going to do is we're going to offer a $30 tier on our Patreon. That's going to get you one game per month with Erik on Foundry. If you want to obviously purchase additional games as a part of series or whatever,
y'all know how to reach me. I'm widely available on
Discord. We'll
get
to that. Eventually I'm going to make our website better and just have the purchases there. But
we are patient goblins.
1 step at a time.
Ish.
So what we're running, or what Erik is running, is forthcoming. It could either be an official adventure or an adventure in the Goblin Salvage Rites universe.
And I will be digging into the Discord with all of you fine mooks out there. And I want to just figure out what the hell it is you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want official products, or do you want like our grubby little goblin products?
Exactly. So. Grubby little goblin products is amazing. It's got to be a name on a shirt or something. So yeah, check out our Patreon. It's linked in the description. If you want to just jump in, see what it's all about. We've got a bunch of cool custom content on our $5 tier. And now on our $30 tier, you get all their cool custom content in addition to one game a month with Erik. Go check it out. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Gonna be lit. That's what the kids are saying, right?
No, they stopped saying that.
What happened? Somebody turned the lights out?
They move so quickly, these kids. Next up is what we played. Erik.
What we played. Oh, this one's exciting for me.
It is.
I've got a soft spot for Disney animated features. I love them. My first crush out there in the celebrity sphere was Ariel the Mermaid, and it only went from there. So I like running Pathfinder 2nd Edition with Disney tropes involved. And I did a favor for Robert's wife, a bunch of her friends, brand damn new to TTRPGs in general, and Pathfinder specifically. I was supposed to break them in easy and, show them a good time so they want to play more games. That's what tonight was all about. So long story short, I decided to do sort of like a Peter Pan themed thing. There was an island, and there's a witch on the island conducting a ritual that was cycling pink occulty ooze from her cave behind the waterfalls down under the island out into the harbor, and a water genie is helping, and he reversed the flow of the river so that all that shit goes backwards up into the island, back into the cave behind the waterfall, and it just cycles like that. So the idea is this pink ooze is affecting all the flora and fauna and people, and it's turning flamingos into like slightly undead critters, that sort of thing. So more and more people are leaving. There was a gargoyle whose job was to trash any ship that came into harbor, so nobody can really leave. and everybody's just trying to figure out how to survive on this island when all this shit's going down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. And, they're brand new players. So we had a druid show up who didn't really know how to play a druid. We had a water kineticist, same thing, just like these people were new. And they didn't pick fighter, cleric, rogue, bard. No, they went with like water kineticist. They went with a druid, a wizard summoner, and the other one was a bard. So that was nice and standard and fairly simple.
Yeah.
And it was just a really cool, let's get their toes wet and try to get a complete experience done in one sitting, which is really hard for me because my games go on forever. But I wrote a custom piece for these folks, and there were 8 different locations. Each location had 2 scenes. We went through damn near all of it in one sitting.
That's crazy.
I know, right? So here's the money shot for me. I love this part. I created a ritual for this. It's like a counter ritual to go against the witch's ritual. And all of the, this is Disney, right? So all the PCs, they had an animal, a pet.
Okay.
None of them were actual animal companions or familiars. So I just made them pets and gave them the free feat.
Right.
And the counter ritual had a primary caster of a pet or an animal companion or a familiar. And the secondary casters were pets, animal companions, or familiars. The purpose of this game wasn't for the players to go kill the witch. It was for the players to escort this crack team of their pets.
Oh my God, the A team is a bunch of squirrels.
And we had 2 purple Aladdin type tigers. There was a kitty cat.
Okay.
That was mourning and crying because the kitty cat doesn't have wings, can't fly.
Okay.
But the PC was based on the harpy ancestry and was flying all the damn time. So anytime the harpy was flying around in the sky somewhere, our Sleeping Beauty figure, the cat would just be at the base of a tree or just like directly underneath through the entire campaign. It was just delicious. And then we had what else did we have? We had a giant rat, and there are 2 tigers, and there's a big old German Shepherd size cat. So you better believe I just played that up.
Yeah.
The rat is like,
Cat and the mouse.
God damn it! You told me we were. Why did they have to come on this one, boss?
Yeah.
So all the animals were able to speak. They all had their own personalities. And it let me take the pressure off the players to make them interact.
That's really smart.
So, I had to up my NPC game, but that's my job on my side of the screen, right? For new players.
Yeah.
I can't expect them to be like, hey, what do you do? And not talk until they say something.
Right.
What kind of game is that for a newbie?
Yeah.
So it was a wonderful, I think it was 5 to 6 hours we ended up doing this. And by the very end, the big reveal is that the captain is the one who's orchestrated all of this, right? And it's like, no ships are allowed here. Gargoyle, sink all the ships. Water genie, sink the logging camp and make it so nobody wants to live on this island and go away. It was actually the witch because she just wanted 5 minutes of peace and quiet. And everybody keeps moving to this goddamn island. And this is her island. And she's been here for a very long time. And she's been quiet. She's been polite. And she's been like, you guys just stay over there on your side of the island and we'll be fine. But then people were moving here and moving here. And then civilization spread out and out and out. And she's like, we had a deal. Just stop. And they didn't. And all of a sudden there's a logging camp now. And she's like, okay,
enough is enough.
Yeah. So she created this plan to get everybody kind of booted.
It's hilarious. Your witch was actually an economist who was like, I can either increase the supply of housing or I can decrease the demand for housing. So we're going to make this island shit again. So no one wants to move here. That's my advice for people in Portland or like any big West Coast city. If you're a city planner out there and you want to make your housing more affordable.
For all you city planners that watch Goblin Salvage.
Exactly. Just make your city shitty to live in. And then no one will want to live there. People will leave and housing prices will go down.
And then we get gentrification and then everything's sucky again.
Shh. It's not a cycle.
You're not listening to this economist.
It's not a cycle. Trust me. Make Portland shit again. That's my new motto. I want to put that on a bumper sticker.
So at the very end of it, the final reveal was the players got back to the dock and the captain had come in. And the captain totally ignored him. Took over the whole dock. All the goods were offloaded. And what the players heard on the way out was, get everything onto the wagons. I want all these taken over to my mother's before sundown. And the witch is Captain Hook's mother. So and we're like fucking off as fast as we can because we don't want to be caught when the captain gets to the cave and hears the skinny on what happened. So I set the stage for if they want to come back and play again. There will be a chapter 2.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that was my Disney game. I think the last Disney game I did before that was also For You and Your Wife.
Crime drama.
I love shoving
crazy,
Winnie the Pooh into Pathfinder stories.
Yeah, except he was a heroin addict.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, like Rabbit was on uppers of some sort.
Yeah.
I think he was just coked out. He always had white powder on his nose. Piglet was a meth fiend, I think, and you know, when
much
he
darker
was heroin.
than what you ran for them.
Yeah.
Totally different genre.
It was. It took place in San Francisco, but
I played Bloodlords again. We are cracking along. We kind of hit this inflection point in this story where we finished book 2, I think. We're on to book 3.
God, you guys are moving fast.
We're like 8th. We're almost at 9th level. And we're starting book 3, I believe.
It took me 3 years to get Edgewatch to book 3.
Yeah,
it took you like what, 30 seconds?
Yeah,
3 minutes? Tops?
Less than a year. Probably, yeah, less than a year.
Well done, Kyle.
Yeah. We were cooking. I have to say a lot of that speed has to do with the fact that Kyle doesn't rewrite entire adventure paths. And
I thought everybody did that.
No, that's not normal. You're not normal, Erik. Again, this is why you should join the Patreon on the $30 tier, because Erik's probably going to rewrite every adventure you want to play to make it suitable for him.
I'll give you shenanigans.
Anyway, so we have begun the search for one of the hags that we defeated. She escaped, and she apparently got re-risen as a...
Oh, I thought you were done with the hag chapters.
I thought I was too, but here we are. So basically,
way to go, Kyle.
The spy master knocks on our door of the Geb, knocks on our door and is like, "Hey, come with me. You have to help me find this hag." And we're like, "Okay, sure, bud." So we did a time skip. We did some downtime activities. I really want to optimize the downtime math because I think there's got to be somewhat like a calculator, a probability calculator that tells you the optimal thing or something like that. The gambling nerd in me wants to do that.
Are you hearing this shit?
Anyway, we did the downtime. We started chasing after her. We found like her original house that was like melted. Well, it was like reformed, and some random demon had taken it over. And we're bad guys. I keep having to remind us that we're bad guys. So we walk in. The demon's like, "This is my house now. Get out." And we're like, "Okay." We just shut the door. I go downstairs. We discover like a hazard that's like this giant beating heart thing that is kind of pretty cool. We defeat the hazard by, like chanting to our gods.
I'd like to see that because Chris Estrad had one of those up in the tower.
Yeah. And then we left that house and we found another hook that brought us to a new town. And now we're investigating that new town. Okay. One of our players is taking like an extended break from the game.
Why?
Yeah.
On purpose?
No, it's just Slick. He's just got a bunch of work to do.
Oh, yeah.
So,
sorry, Slick. We miss you.
Yeah. So he's just like working a lot. So we're just like I'm running his character. So I'm playing an exemplar and I'm playing a rogue. And it's finally gotten to the point where I rewrote his rogue.
That's what you get.
So I spent like a good afternoon reading the rogue and asking myself how I would optimize the rogue if I had to play a rogue, just like a basic bitch rogue that's like good damage. Turns out the dog slicer, the goblin dog slicer is
I'm liking where this is going.
Actually like a really good weapon. It's actually like a really good weapon.
We need to get a dog slicer and put it on the wall back here somewhere.
I would love to own
How much would it cost to customize like an actual dog slicer, like actual steel?
I could just make one. Yeah, like we could just have one laser cut because it's literally just a ragged piece of metal with random like holes cut in it. That's from.
Is there a Pathfinder melee weapon that you'd like to see on the wall at Goblin Salvage Rites?
In addition to the dog slicer.
In addition to the dog slicer.
We're gonna get horse choppers in the comments.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Dog slicers and horse choppers. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. So the dog slicer has like it's agile, it's finesse, it has good base damage, it has backstabber. So the rogue at level 6 gets gang up, which allows you to pretty much always have your opponent have flat-footed. you don't have to be across from them. You just need another person that's adjacent to them and threatening them to have to give them off guard. So I basically built the whole class around that. So he's like a thief that gets, dex damage. And I made him a dual wielder. So he's dual wielding dog slicers. He's a little goblin skeleton dual wielding dog slicers. And I gave him the fighter. I gave him the fighter dedication to get attack of opportunity. And then I also gave him dual wield warrior or whatever to give him double slice. So every turn he's going to be double slicing with his dog slicers. The opponent's going to be off guard. He's going to get backstab damage and sneak attack damage. And then if the opponent moves away, I reactive strike. And if someone else hits him with an attack, I also get a reactive strike because of another feat.
Sure.
So that's 3 full map attacks every turn.
And I think that means that the dog slicer is the single reason why goblins are now a accepted ancestry out there in the IP.
100%. Yeah, it's definitely not the alchemist. Fucking alchemist, dude. It still doesn't make any sense to me. One day I'll make an alchemist that actually works. Until then.
Everything sucks until it's cool.
Everything sucks until it's cool. Until I do it. So yeah, that's what I played. I had fun in Bloodlords. It was pretty cool. We're trucking along. We're almost at 9th level. Pretty excited. Exemplar starting to feel a little boring. And we're getting to the point now where if I re-roll into like a new character that's like a caster.
If you think exemplars are not boring, you better start typing down there and tell Robert why he's wrong.
Yeah, it's just the gameplay loop is just same. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm running into. And the fun thing
is like you're playing a bard.
Oh, bards are casters though. I could change my spells.
Yeah, but you still need to make sure everybody is happy and skipping along the road. And
you got me.
I don't like scripted classes.
All right, let's jump into the topic for today.
We have a topic?
The first question I want to answer here is, would we buy this book? This is something I want to do every episode where we tell goblins, listen. If you only got 2 shekels to rub together, would you spend those shekels on this book? For me, this is like, okay, I have 2 answers to this question for the Starfinder Core book. We don't have the physical copy on us right now. But yeah, I think I got the PDF. I didn't buy the actual book. But I don't have the subscription for the Starfinder stuff yet. Maybe I will soon, though. If these videos keep getting views, I will get the subscription for the Starfinder books. But from my perspective, it's like, if I was a veteran of the Starfinder universe already, I probably would just wait for it to hit Archives of Nymphs.
Okay.
Because I already own the Monster Cores from 1st edition. And I already have the art for a lot of these creatures inside of here.
Sure.
And I already kind of know what the vibe is. But for someone who's new to the Starfinder universe, this is like a must-have for players and GMs. Because players need to be able to look at this book and obviously memorize all the monster stats so they can actually they're GMs. No, I'm kidding. But
he's not kidding.
I may have done that inadvertently.
Accidentally, maliciously.
Accidentally. But I'm just a curious guy. I like reading monster stats.
It has nothing to do with the fact that the words min-max come out of my mouth every other sentence.
Guy. What do you want? I just like reading.
You're not pulling any goblins out here.
That's how I go to bed. I read when I'm laying in bed. I turn my phone on to black and white mode. I turn the light all the way down, and then I just read Archives of Nymphs until I fall asleep.
You're a nerd's nerd.
So yeah, I would say if you're new to Starfinder and you just want to jump into this, you got to buy the 3 core books. But if you're a veteran, you probably could skip this. However, goblins, there are new dragons.
There are indeed new dragons
in this book.
Are you jumping ahead into the top 10?
No. I'm just saying, even if you are a veteran, you may want to get the book solely based on the new dragons.
They're new dragons and they're pretty lit.
They're pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like dragons.
We're going to have some crossover. Yep.
Piece of my childhood arrived from my mom. It's a dragon letter opener statue. It's pretty cool. I like dragons. Anyway.
I'm surprised you don't have like a stack of letters that you open throughout the episode.
I could do that. I just dox myself.
Yeah.
So Eric, what would you buy this book?
Like every other answer I give, it depends. As a GM,
$75 price tag.
Yeah. So at one time I was a completionist and my answer was, yeah, you buy the book, especially if you're running.
Right.
So if you're playing and you like Starfinder lore, you buy the book. The same thing with Pathfinder, because the lore is one thing that doesn't get into Archives of Nymphs. So the entries for the creatures, you'll find them there. But there's a whole big batch of lore that just never makes it from hardcover to archives.
Yeah.
I'm a lore guy, so that's important to me. For a monster manual, that's less important. If we were talking, I don't know, like an adventure path or something, you can't, none of that back matter is going to be on archives.
Absolutely.
Starfinder or Pathfinder. On the other hand, there's a lot of cool stuff in here that isn't strictly monster stat blocks in here. There's new adjustments to creatures. There's new languages. There's new classifications of creatures. And there's just things that aren't available in the Pathfinder hardcover books that you can use for Starfinder and for Pathfinder, which we'll get into as we get into our top 5. That being said, that's a lot of money. I think if I was running Starfinder at the rate that I run Pathfinder, I would say, yeah, buy the physical book. If you're not, if you're like me and you kind of want to do 3/4 Pathfinder, 1/4 Starfinder, I would definitely buy the PDF. I wouldn't just rely solely on Archives of Nethys. I think that's my ultimate answer. If I was just a player and nothing else,
Yeah.
I would probably just buy the PDF.
Yeah. If I was just
It's a
player,
gorgeous book.
I just AON it. But
Yeah.
if I'm a GM and I really want to take it seriously, definitely buy the book.
Yeah, you've been doing that from the get-go, though, haven't you? You
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
started as a pirate of PDFs and then a legitimate
Yeah.
purchaser of PDFs.
Yeah, yeah. And then AON is between buying PDFs and AON. I pretty much don't need anything.
I guess at the end of the day, is this a quality art book? Maybe that's what we're really trying to ask here.
Absolutely.
And $75 for art. Like you said, there's new dragons, but there's also new other things that also exist in Pathfinder that allow me to understand those Pathfinder creatures in new and exciting ways. And that is definitely on one of my top 5.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about our
Honorable mentions.
honorable mentions. These
Our dishonorable
are
mentions.
we have to cut the list down somehow.
Yep.
So you want to go back and forth, rapid fire, or do you want to just throw
You go
out all
first.
your? Okay, I'll just
You do
throw
one,
out
I'll do one. You do one, I'll do one.
Okay, you got it. So I've already looked at Eric's list and some of my honorable mentions.
I changed
are on
mine.
his
Haha.
list.
Funny joke.
Oh, fuck. So anyway, first off, Aeon Guards. They're the racist Aslanti fascists in space. Every good science fiction needs fascists in space.
Yeah, and this
They
is a
really do.
broad categorization, like an umbrella under which there are multiple types of Aslanti.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 entries. The reason I really liked them is they have a really solid sci-fi design.
Yes.
I loved the artwork for them. They were just really tight. It's a good general concept for any bad guy. Big empire of racists over there that are invading. That's like it's perfect board to jump off of.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Just to add on to that, the one reason why I like they started with those guys, because this is way back in the beginning of first edition, those guys were running around, is it's a continuation of this of my love affair with Rune Lords.
Yeah.
It's Sci-Fi's version of Rune Lords, essentially, the culture and all that. Sahedrons and Sin and blah, blah, blah. So that is a good one. My first honorable mention is going to be Elementals writ large. This book has one new elemental for air, earth, fire, water, earth.
And wood.
There it is.
And
wood
metal.
and metal and metal. So there's a neon air elemental.
I love it. Yeah,
Self-explanatory.
looks so cool.
For the fire, we have sun modes. Those are coming into my Pathfinder game. So it's almost like a subcategory of fire elemental, a subcategory of air elemental. And I just love that. So for water, we've got toxic water, like sludge runoff and stuff like that. For earth, we have asteroid elemental, and there's a wood elemental called a toxic algae. And I feel like I'm missing one in there somewhere.
No worries.
Earth, fire, water. Okay.
Air,
So
earth,
elementals
fire, water.
in general, I wasn't expecting to see this in the Alien archives. I don't know why I wasn't, but I was really happy that they represented, and each one of them got a distinct, clever interpretation of what it means to have sci-fi air elemental, sci-fi water elemental. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, because it always bears repeating. The role of fantasy is to take a metaphor and then make it literal, like people walking around as metaphors, creatures walking around as metaphors. It's the only genre you can do that in. And the fact that we have an elemental creature that can run around and do things, and it represents like toxic algae, corporate run amok.
It's pretty cool.
Environmental, ecological warfare. It's just so many awesome kind of Greenpeace type stories in space can run off of all of these.
So one of my other honorable mentions are just robots as a category.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about robots.
Good. They have a whole category of robots here that I think is pretty cool. I didn't realize it until I looked at the section that you really just need, in a sci-fi setting, you need stats for all kinds of different robots.
Yep.
And they gave that to you. And I love that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. And they're different enough that it doesn't feel like the same stat block over and over and over at different levels.
Exactly.
I appreciated that. That creates identity, and that's one of the things that Paizo does so well. My next honorable mention is going to be traits in general. I wasn't expecting to get this many.
That's not an honorable mention, Eric.
It is. I mean, it was on my top 5.
Okay.
And I'm just going to list them off real quick.
Loosey-goosey over here.
Out of the 10 new traits, 6 of them are specifically ancestry, so I'm just going to skip those. But the cosmic trait in Pathfinder 2e, we have a lot of cosmic shit coming out of space.
Yeah.
All the eldritch horrors and stuff like that. So there are certain crunchy rules in here that affect critters with the cosmic trait. So cosmic, there's drift, which is, we won't talk about that. It's another part of the setting.
It's their FTL.
Yeah, right. Robots, and I want to know how these are different from constructs. We'll get into that later. The spectra and tech. So those are the 4 traits that are not ancestry chained. And I'm really curious to see how I can take all 4 of those and extract them from Starfinder and pull them into Pathfinder in meaningful ways to make things interesting.
Oh, yeah. Another one of my honorable mentions are the Kaiocore. This is the kaiju.
That's the Godzilla one, right?
Yeah. What I loved about this is instead of just giving you a level 25 monster to fight, they give you a series of hazards that the monster creates while it's rampaging through a city. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's fucking sick.
That was pretty cool.
That was a great way to handle high level. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
middle high to all the way up.
Yeah.
I think my final one here is going to be the outsiders. So like demons, daemons, and angels and all that. Each one of those kinds of creatures have a very specific purview that they exercise their power within. So for the daemons, they have these new things called mistake demons. They represent death through dictation errors and transcription errors and woes, incorrect copying and pasting of text.
Of course, you have a hard on for that. Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's just like, God, like send the bomb to these coordinates. Nope. 2 blocks that way.
Wrong
no, there goes the orphanage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the mistake demon is one of them. The other one is the social demon. This one hits a little close to home. Death through oppression and hate from social media.
Oh my God.
Online trolls have their very own daemon.
There's a reason why I don't have social media anymore.
Yeah.
The only reason I do is because of you goblins. It's because of the podcast. If not, I'd be like completely unplugged.
There's a vengeance demon. There's a rampage demon. There is a license devil.
Yeah.
And there's a silencer devil, which is a little too close to the current political climate. I didn't write down what the 2 different angels were. I guess I forgot that. But yeah, just the outsiders in general. We've got, how long has Pathfinder been around? And they've been doing exactly this sort of thing. 20 years, 25, something like that. Yeah, so the fact that they can pump out new and exciting types of angels, types of demons, types of devils to represent modern day problems.
Pretty cool.
I love it. It keeps the setting fresh, and it makes it feel a little more adult and less candy as, the roots of D&D was.
So my last honorable mentions here, I've got 3 more. Hell Knights. They've seen a bit of a transformation in their orders, and I really like how I think they've become better antagonists.
There's a new order.
Did
you see it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Go for it.
Okay. So I had it on my fucking the Solarian Hell Knight is what it was. They're called the Degradants.
Yeah.
And the
Degradants. Degradants.
However you pronounce it, like degrading. Yeah. So I'm sure you probably have all the numbers on hand here, but the idea that we have this new Solarian concept that doesn't exist in Pathfinder, and we have it in Starfinder, to actually have a piece of the Hell Knight Order carved out to represent that, I thought was a really smart move.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have something similar for the Witch Warper. Is that the signifier? I don't know yet. But how like old Hell Knights map to this new Hell Knight era. This was a really cool kind of turn of that screw.
I loved it. Yeah, I really love what they did with Hell Knights. And, you Starfinder veterans that are watching this probably already know all the lore. I don't know how old any of this is. It could just be unchanged from first edition. So you're kind of watching Erik and I discover a lot of this stuff for the first time.
Did you hear about this new thing?
Yeah, exactly. This new thing that's 10 years old. Spectra They are a hyperspace alien protector? Question mark. The one thing that really jumped out to me about the Spectra are that they're really cool, and they made me realize I need to know more about the Starfinder universe because they're an interesting part of sci-fi that I never really thought would make its way into Starfinder. And then finally, the Diapex. This is the monster that's on the cover.
Okay.
The Warhammer player in me fell in love with this immediately.
Of course.
It's just so fucking metal. It's like a demon with like a fucking chain cannon, like a chain gun, like it's strapped to his right arm, and it just looks metal as hell. It didn't make it into my top 5, believe it or not, because there's so much good shit in this book. But it had to get into honorable mentions on vibes alone.
Yeah. No, that's a good set of honorable mentions.
It's only like an 8th or 9th level monster, which
there's
is cool.
a lot of
I
that sort of thing.
Which I like.
Well, yeah.
The power level's pushed. Like the power level is really shift. Mathematically, it's probably still the same, but it seems to be like in Starfinder, cooler shit is at lower levels, basically.
Okay.
Which is,
I never made that connection.
Which I like. Like I wouldn't when you look at art like the Diapex, you're like, that's a Baylor class. Like that's a Baylor level threat. Sure. And then you're like, oh, it's only 8th level. That means I could fight this at 8th level. That's appropriate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've got to chew on that some.
Okay.
There were some weird sort of like, why doesn't this category of creature have a level 20 through 25 representation here? Why do they only go up to 11?
So you could buy the next book.
Probably.
Yeah.
Really quick while I'm thinking about it, because I know you're a bit of a psychopomp nerd. Did you notice there were 2 new psychopomps in this book?
Oh, yeah. We're going to get to the psychopomps.
They got one for Android and they got one for Time. And it's probably on
one
your
of those
list,
are
so
on my list. Yep.
Okay, that's everything I got for honorables.
Hell yeah. So let's jump into our top 10.
Sure.
I'll go ahead and get us kicked off here.
Roll it.
Page 127, the Oma. So the Oma are giant space whales.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up watching this movie from Disney called Treasure Planet. It has a really close place in my heart. I didn't have a dad growing up. So like, it was like a story that I connected to very, closely. And I loved it. So I started reading more about them, and they reminded me obviously a lot of Treasure Planet.
Sure.
But what I loved about them is that they are more than just space whales. They have like a psychic ability to communicate with people. They call out across the cosmos and have like these siren songs of sorts, and civilizations can build on top of them. So the picture in the book is a space whale with a fucking cannon strapped to its head and a little city on its back.
That was amazing.
And it says like you can form, like civilizations can form in their multiple stomachs.
Yeah.
That's where they put
There's a lot
cities.
of nautical ships in this book.
I love that. It's so whimsical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so whimsical. So yeah, that's my number 5.
All right.
The Oma.
I was hoping I would find the page before you got to me, but number 5, I'm calling the I didn't know that I needed this pick.
Okay.
Adjustments.
I
like.
That's not an option.
It is an option. This is the top 5 things I like best in this book.
Eric's like, fuck you, it's my podcast. It's an option now.
So there, I like adjustments because you can take any monster and then add these to them, and then look, it's a different encounter, so you're not fighting the same goddamn thing over and over and over.
Right.
And the ones they added, I think these are new. The aerial adjustment. So like, take a crab or a goblin and throw aerial on it. It doesn't have to be something with wings. It doesn't have to be something with hi. That was my GSR homework alarm.
Yeah. No worries. Keep talking.
Yeah. So anyhow, I thought that was a cool adding. And what I really want to do is find all the ones I like here and see if it works for Pathfinder as well, because they kept telling us over the past year that you can use Starfinder with Pathfinder interchangeably. And I am slowly questioning the validity of that. We've got aerial. We've got an environmental adaptation. There is something in me that loves the idea of taking slugs and giving them like a volcanic adaptation. So you can like have, oozes in that area, things you wouldn't expect to see in certain environments. You can by way of these adjustments.
Right.
Hard light. So like the, I guess the Doctor in Star Trek, that's a hologram, right?
Mm-hmm.
Halo has a bunch of these things running around. There's a marine version. So take like a rock,
Adjustments
the big
are on
bird.
page 204, by the way.
Page 204. Okay. Normally I write that down, but I didn't this time. Interstellar, magical, nanite, robotic, sapient, and warped. I'll just talk about sapient really quick. The idea of creating intelligent things that previously were not. The joke we always had around our particular table was, can you use Pathfinder to make a sentient bucket of mop water? Here it is.
Yeah.
You now have a sapient animated object. And boom, that's, you like to say, Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle.
So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 new adjustments that aren't necessarily capital T templates. That's a lot of flexibility in creating the same creatures in new and different and interesting ways. So take that space whale you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. The Oma.
The Oma. Can you imagine running into that thing 10 times and each time it has a different one of these adjustments?
Yeah.
And the kind of stories you can tell? That's 10 different stories using the same monster. That's important because this book, Pathfinder monster manuals have been notoriously shorter than Starfinder than Pathfinder. But stuff like this lets you get a lot more mileage, which helps me to answer your earlier question. Would you pay $75 for this? Well, kind of, yeah. Because if this thing has 200 monsters using these, you've got a lot more than that. So that's my number 5.
Yeah. What's interesting about
I didn't know
that,
I needed this.
It also kind of creates a through line. So to take your Oma example, if you just created an adventure, let's say levels, 8 through 12, 4-level adventure, and we have 12 different adjustments, right? So every level you experience 3 different versions of an Oma. You have a through line through that entire adventure of Oma. Like the whole story revolves around a version of this creature and how they all kind of interconnect with each other.
Yeah, and that takes us away from the old Rune Lord days where you went from goblin to hobgoblin to bugbear to ogre to hill giant.
You almost had it.
all the way up to Titan and Storm Client.
Right.
Storm Client.
Storm Client.
So, that's my number 5. I did not know I needed all of these adjustments.
Oh, yeah.
Now I can't live without them.
Well, my number 4 is the Tempori.
Yep, I knew that was coming.
I love timey-wimey bullshit.
Timey-wimey bullshit.
Timey-wimey bullshit is almost more of a science fiction trope than it is a fantasy trope.
Sure.
And the Tempori are psychopomps that stop time meddlers who want to prevent death.
Yep.
I didn't realize I needed that, but fucking more timey-wimey bullshit. Give it to me. You know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of stuff that I really love in my science fiction.
You're probably too young to remember Quantum Leap.
I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it? Okay. It's a sci-fi story.
Okay.
TV show. Basically, a guy finds himself just pulled into somebody's body in different parts of the timeline. And he's like, where the hell am I? Who am I? What is the situation? How do I get out of this? And he does whatever he does for the episode, right? Can you imagine a psychopomp, timey-wimey version of that, where you're a psychopomp and you get thrust into a body and you're looking around going, where's the timey-wimey bullshit I need to pull out of the necromantic, causation?
I need to find it and eliminate it. Like, it would be a cool little series of one-shots where you are one of these Tempori, or you're working, it's a 14th level creature, or maybe you're working for or alongside a Tempori. Maybe the Tempori, you've done something that they don't like. And in exchange for paying off this debt, this Tempori is going to send you across time and space to eliminate these threats for them because they can't do it themselves.
Now I want like a Pathfinder society for psychopomps.
Yeah. A Pathfinder society for time and death. That would be really sick.
Is there a psychopomp archetype anywhere?
I like how you're asking me like I'm an encyclopedia, and my answer is yes.
Well, I know psychopomps are definitely more your area than mine.
Well, there's 2 or 3 that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
That are themed.
That could be
psychopomps.
a really fun thing to fuck around with at a later date.
Absolutely. I love the art for the Tempori too. It's like just a naked looking humanoid man with 6 arms holding a glass, and their face is just this white flat mask,
Mhm.
but it has it's not in the circle. It's in the shape of a head, so it's oblong with a sharp chin.
Mhm.
But there's clock marks on the face, but there's no hand, which I love. It's just the art is beautiful. The abilities for it are really cool, and it's just this perfect 14th level creature. I don't know.
Yeah.
Timey-wimey bullshit. Great art. Incredible lore. This is the kind of stuff that gets me excited to run games. Like we just did. We just literally came up with a whole one-shot adventure structure based around this one creature. You know what I mean? That's powerful. That's when you know the writing's good.
Yeah.
So that's my number 4.
Let's see. My number 4, I'm calling the I'm tired of space bugs pick. So in Ninja Turtles, you fight robots if it's the cartoon.
Okay.
And you fight the Foot Clan like they're actually people in the comics. And it's a lot bloodier. That's kind of your stand-in for what you're going to run into most of the time.
Okay.
Every genre has their version of that, in Pathfinder, it's goblins, right? That's what we all do at low levels.
Okay.
It's players versus goblins.
Generic enemy.
Yeah, basically like that. So in sci-fi, because of Robert Heinlein and the success of Starship Trooper, bugs, Tyranids in Warhammer 40K. Yep. It's just bugs, space bugs for days. And I'm so over it. It's like zombies in horror fiction. There are so many other cooler gothic creatures than zombies, but you wouldn't know because every other movie is about zombies. So for the sci-fi thing, what do we do to replace sort of like the bug menace, the Tyranid menace? I didn't know anything about dryads in space.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read that section? The Nymphs?
Oh, I got them on my list, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Should I hold off and we can both geek out together?
Let's just do it. Yeah,
okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, so briefly, nymphs, where are you? There's
Page
asteroid
118.
nymphs, there's dwarf star nymphs, there's black hole nymphs, and then there are the queens of each of those.
Yeah.
So it's like the psychopomps or the daemons, demons, angels.
And
it's
then a named
the umbrella
character of each of
category,
them.
and then the specific thing they are responsible for. And the notion of having sort of like, when I think nymph, I think kingmaker, right? I think forest, wood, water, stone, that sort of thing. Element. Well, an asteroid's just stone, right? But I would never think to put the dryad concept in my brain.
I love it.
And marry it to celestial bodies out there.
Exactly.
So that was cool. A dwarf star nymph in a setting where there's Solarians.
Who's also a celebrity.
And yeah.
Come on.
I mean, my brain starts doing like mini explosions when I'm like, you compare nymph with anything now, and you get really cool nymphs. And then it was the queens that really sealed the deal for me. And that's when I had the bug connection. You can replace all of Starship Troopers with these guys, and it'll be more interesting because...
Wait, hold on. How?
Because nymphs are creatures of the natural order of things.
Okay.
And they're adversarial towards people trying to come in, cut down their trees, and, civilize the area.
Okay.
Sci-fi is all about civilization, saving, spreading, protecting, persecuting.
So like but you can't just like one for one replace the bugs with.
You probably could. Yeah. There's a dryad for everything. There's a fey critter for everything.
To me, the bugs in like Starship Troopers, but like in the science fiction thing, they represent a.
Pick two.
Pick two what?
Pick two bugs from Starship Troopers. Any two. Doesn't matter.
No, the bugs themselves, like the mass of bugs, that threat, that kind of threat that
The
they
swarm
pose.
threat?
The swarm threat. Exactly. To me, they pose like a swarm threat.
Do you remember Poison Ivy from Batman?
Yeah.
This is exactly what this is. She takes her swarm of the natural world and overruns Gotham. And she's trying to eliminate everybody. She's trying to replace that civilized order with her natural order, whatever that means. And having Poison Ivy in space, an asteroid version of Poison Ivy, having all these different versions of the Dryad, and they have a queen. I mean, that's the bugs in Starship Troopers, Tyranids, all of them, even Aliens. I love Alien, the movie, all of them. I love them all. But they were just one-note bad guys. They were the horror threat. There was really nothing to them. There was no humanity to them that made anything worth interacting with. That's why devils and demons are so cool, because we know where they stand, but they can come across as having human elements to them, even though they don't. Dryads kind of had that alien otherness to them as well.
They definitely do, yeah.
And like put that in a sci-fi space context, it just feels delicious to me. And I didn't even put those two possibilities together until I picked this book up. That's why it had to hit my list.
For me, the emo black hole nymph is what sealed the deal.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, I got a weakness for goth girlies.
Uh-huh. And so say we all.
So say we all. And I saw that emo nymph black hole. I also like space nerd. Robert's also like low-key a space nerd and loves black holes. I learned about them when I was a kid, and I was just like, this is the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life. This is awesome. And the fact that they were like cutting edge science when I was a kid was also cool. So the fact that we have a black hole nymph that like randomly saves people from black holes and pulls them out of black holes sometimes, I think is awesome.
Yeah, she's like that little dinghy boat that goes out into the water and then like tows people back to the land.
Exactly. But only sometimes.
Yeah.
Only sometimes.
The nymph dinghy.
I loved it. So that was my number 2, actually.
Okay.
Space nymphs. Yeah,
that's
nymphs
a solid number 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They blew me out of the water. Absolutely.
So you have a number 3 we're coming up on?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll jump right into it if we took 2 birds, 1 stone there. So I didn't know about this as a concept before it made me do a lot of Googling. The reason it took me so long to read this book is because I kept running into concepts that I had never heard of before or wasn't really familiar with. And I had to do a lot of reading about them. The Akashic dragon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know what the Akashic record was. I had no idea of its concept in fiction and stuff like that. There are people who, I guess, in real life who actually believe it exists in real life.
Yeah.
So as a concept, it was foreign to me in many ways. And in other ways, it was really relatable because I've read a lot about religion in my life and other religions. I grew up like a lot of my life. I, studied Buddhism, and I grew up, as a self-described Buddhist for many years. And so these ideas of reincarnation or like the Akashic record, for those who don't know, is like this alternate dimension where all human experiences are recorded forever psychically.
Yep.
And in Pathfinder, it's a dimension you cannot access by casting Dimension Door. It is almost impossible to access by anyone. It is a physical place in another dimension with fixed, it specifically says like the structure of the Akashic plane is fixed, but ever growing. And I found that to be fascinating. And this dragon, the Akashic dragon, is a dragon who is connected to this magically and can go there whenever it wants and experience the full breadth and explore the full breadth of sentient creatures' emotions and thoughts and experiences. The art for this dragon is top fucking tier.
Yep.
He looks evil. He's got all these eyes on him all over the place, which is super perfect.
The adult Akashic dragon on page 48 was my note for one of my 2 favorite art pieces in this book.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The other dragons are pretty cool too. Don't get me wrong. But the Akashic dragon really, I was like, wow, this is a cool dragon concept. I keep coming back to the fact I love what Paizo was doing with dragons.
Yeah.
I love dragons. I'm a dragon simp. And this to me was just like, simp. He's not an antagonist, but he's not a protagonist. He's an actor that has his own set of wants and needs, and this is just a perfect quest giver in my mind in a campaign.
Is this the only dragon you have on your list?
Yep.
Let's take a quick second to talk about the different types of dragons.
Bring it, baby.
So for those who are in the know and for those who aren't, there are essentially 4 categories of dragons, if I remember right. Yep. You have your arcane, your occult, your divine, and your primal. This one is the occult representative in the Starfinder, and it's basically the knowledge dragon is how I'm describing it. Like demons, devils, and daemons and angels, the dragons have their one specific thing they're good at or that they focus on. This one is the sum total human emotional knowledge is how I'm looking at it. What are the other 3? Because I'm sure you probably have them there. Here we are. Okay, so we have the Abyssium dragon. That's our arcane radioactive star metal guy. So under the arcane, you have the Abyssium dragon.
Which is pretty fucking sick. It's like literally like...
Yeah. And star metal exists in Pathfinder as well.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's here in Starfinder in a new context and has its own dragon
which
for
makes
it.
Perfect sense.
That isn't like a Bahamut or a platinum dragon just rip off.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really nice touch.
Radioactive super dragon.
Yeah, so radioactivity. And the reason why I like that even more is because we had Rage of Elements. And with the return of the elemental plane of metal, and with that specific Tyrannosaurus Rex
we got radioactive energy.
We got radioactive as a...
linked to metal.
Yeah, it's the cleric thing, the domain.
Yeah.
Radioactive decay and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And to have an arcane part of that conversation, not just a divine.
It twists it.
Yeah, and it blows open. Like what happens when you have this dragon whose interests are at odds with those elemental creatures. So it's cool. It feels a little bit more real and lived in at that point. We did the occult representative, so that's the knowledge Akashic. The divine option here is the cosmic dragon. Stellar forces that balance the universe. That's kind of what their dealio is.
They're like the good dragons out of all of them. They're like the good ones.
Yeah, if we were to still have alignment.
Yeah, because I mean, like the radioactive one kind of specifically says it's so radioactive it kills everything around him, and they're just lonely. Which is kind of sad.
I'm really surprised you picked the Akashic dragon as the one you wanted to talk about, because the primal dragon is my favorite, and I could have sworn it was going to be yours. It's the swarm dragon.
Ancient host dragon. Host dragon. It's
so
pretty
like
fucking metal,
worm
dude.
that walks kind of thing. Yeah. Bugs, back to Starship Troopers.
It's giving Nurgle to me. It's
Nurgle.
even green.
Totally, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Disease and decay.
Exactly.
You can wrap it with daemons in the storyline.
Yeah.
So dragons and daemons, how often do you get that crossover?
Oh, good point. Yeah, absolutely.
And while we're still on the note of dragons, drakes are always a part of the conversation with dragons. So you can call them diet dragons. I used to, but I'm not quite.
Diet dragons?
That's what drakes have always felt like with me.
Gotcha.
Like, why use drakes if you can use dragons?
Totally.
Yeah. But, they're more bestial dragons, and they've got a space. So what are they in Starfinder? Well, they have two in this book. There's the ravenous drake. We're talking about like the black holes, like the suction. Something about sci-fi and suction.
There's a joke to be made there.
And one of the cool things about that is they're domesticatable, and they're kind of like sci-fi vacuum cleaners. You like when you want to suck the detritus out of an area, that's what they do. So it's a cool, cute little thing you can throw in there.
To me, they're like goats.
Yeah.
You put them on an island, they
chew
eat
the goat
everything.
heads, and you're good.
Yeah.
And then there's the blight drake, which is basically smog. That's their thing. And for all the Godzilla fans out there, smog monster. Here you go.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's everything I had to say about dragons.
Oh, hell yeah. Cool. So that's my number 3. Which
means my number 3. My number 3 category is what I'm calling the springboard for downstream creatures. Creatures I can build based on this pick right here.
Right.
And can you do me a favor and look up where the midwives are? Because I just couldn't find them in the table of contents. It's the midwives. In the lore of Starfinder, there was a planet. And on this planet, there were a bunch of people who went bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. And then shortly after that, there was the planet cracked open like an egg, and it hatched a Cthulhu-type creature. And there's this alien entity called the Newborn. And it's this squid-like thing out there in space and blah, blah, blah. So it's more Cthulhu in our... why is there so much goddamn Cthulhu?
Because it's space?
Paizo products. Just Paizo products in general.
Oh.
There's like half a bestiary back in first edition dedicated to this thing.
That's true.
James Jacob has had a love affair with these guys forever. And I like them a lot.
It's your fault, James.
But give me higher level dinosaurs and I will forgive this trespass.
Oh, yeah. We'll trade. You give me higher level dinosaurs.
But so that happened, and the planet just went like an egg does, right? Correct. There were 13 creatures that were sort of responsible, and they call themselves the Midwives. Mm-hmm. They help bring this alien godlike being
found
into
on page
existence.
110.
110, thank you. So this is a monster manual. Mm-hmm. It's an alien archive. This is a collection of stat blocks for monsters. 13 midwives, those are NPCs. Those aren't monsters.
The planet he's talking about is called Octurn.
Octurn.
Aucturn.
Yeah, and there's also I think a Starfinder Society adventure on that if you want to know more.
Totally.
So I really like the idea of there being a discrete number of these people. It feels like a natural countdown in a story. You know, the 12 Cylons in Battlestar Galactica. The however many rings in Lord of the Rings there are. It sort of like helps to, in the imagination, create a scope of a story when you do that. 13 midwives, and they give a few examples here. I really wish I could click directly to that page. Do you have them up?
Yeah, I do.
All right. What page number was that?
It's 110.
110.
So we've got Presulia. Presulia's mortal existence ended in self-sacrifice to feed the newborn. Presulia was remade as a quivering mound of rampant growths, pumping organs that shimmer with vital energy. And the Presulia midwife, what I think is cool about these is like Presulia is only level 4, for instance. And then we have like Liberoba. Liberoba delivered the newborn. Many appendages protrude from the creature's bizarre anatomy, each ending in bloody octernite shears. In my opinion, they all kind of look like the art for them looks very similar.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. So I might have misspoke there. I'm seeing here that there are 13 types of midwives, but their true numbers are unknown.
Exactly.
But it still has that, 13. I can totally use this.
The thing about it is like the cult. Okay, here's a little blurb on the side here. The cult known as the Midwives were a group of 13 powerful spellcasters who tended the gravid mound on Octurne before it hatched. When the newborn broke free of the planet, the psychic screams and transdimensional radiation formed the cultists' bodies into horrible new shapes. So each of these 13...
So there are 13.
Yeah. I think what it is like these 13 individual spellcasters, they're gone. They were blown apart by magic, and they were transformed into concepts that have multiple creatures that represent them across the multiverse. So they're kind of like reborn as a trans-dimensional concept. That's why I like...
Sure, yeah, and they do have a unique tag.
Exactly.
So these aren't a creature type. This is literally an NPC.
Yeah,
monster.
The Presulia midwife. But what's interesting
this
about
feels
them,
like this should be in like the Legends book for the Lost Omens line or the Monsters of Myth.
I totally could.
But they put it in here.
And one of them is a 4th level. The other one's a 9th level. And there's only 2 that have stat blocks.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah. So that...
One of them was sacrificed to feed the newborn. Another one was the one that delivered the newborn. I'm guessing each of the 13...
They had a function in the process.
Have a function, and that's kind of what they represent.
Yeah, which one was the husband whose hand gets crushed by the...
oh my gosh.
By the planet trying to birth it. That is my number 3, the Midwives.
The Midwives are pretty dope.
And the reason why I like them is because I used to play a lot of Vampire, and this kind of rang those bells for me.
Oh, yeah.
So there's like the Antediluvians who are basically the people who started the clans. Vampires started to have personality as soon as the Antediluvians came around, as far as gamers are concerned. And this feels like that. There are literally 13 beings. Well, what if I were to think of them as sort of like the high priest of their particular cult faction and cult of personality? How would that manifest downstream?
Totally.
So to create, just to create a bunch of Presulia midwife lessers, what could that look like, and keep the flavor going? And then you could sort of do with the Aeon Guard, with these guys, what you do with the Aeon Guard, and just replace them. Because isn't that a lot more interesting than Nazis in space?
Tentacle Nazis in space.
Yeah, it is to me. So that was ultimately why it's my number 3.
I gotcha. Well, why don't you give me your number 2, because you stole my number 2 with Space Nymphs.
Sorry, not sorry. My number 2. Forgive me for this. I know you're going to hate this pick.
Okay.
So mine, number 2 is called the Mecha Godzilla pick. It's the Kaiocore. Yes, I picked it too.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's
so cool. Space kaiju with hazard blocks.
Pretty dope.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a space kaiju. It's not a stat block.
Nope.
It's not a creature. It's a collection of hazards. Why? Because you can't take this creature on.
No, it's a subsystem. So like the way you defeat. The way you defight.
Goblins defight.
Goblins defight. They don't defeat. The way you defight a kaiju is not by attacking its stat block. It's with a subsystem where you get points in defeating it while trying to avoid hazards along the way.
And that is so much more interesting to me than when I was in high school. The biggest thing for Forgotten Realms was Forgotten Realms. And the reason why, at least in my circles, was, well, you can go up to level 30. And it was this giant power grab. And all the conversations in that area were about like, killing this god and killing that god and killing these gods and killing those. Why is that interesting?
God killing fantasies.
Yeah. And
it's very Greek.
we'd need another hour on that part of the conversation.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
I can see where you're coming from on that. Yeah. I just, it's not my jam. It's a one note story.
Okay.
Hit over and over and over again because people need their power fantasies for whatever reason. So the idea of taking the Tarrasque, because this is basically a Tarrasque in space.
Totally.
You're not fighting a Tarrasque. You're fighting the area within which the Tarrasque is changing the landscape. That is interesting. So let's say, what are the stat blocks on these? Between levels 14 and 20 are the different levels of hazards through this Kaiocore. That could be a 3-volume adventure path where you're literally talking about the time and space between these hazards changing the game state of the AP. It's one monster with a collection of encounters involving it. Not only does that give you a real interesting A arc that you can always look to and go, this is why we're here. Godzilla is in Tokyo.
It's Kaiocore, by the way.
Kaiocore?
Kyokor. It's on page 104.
It's just this giant thing everybody can rally around, and there's no ambiguity, and it feels like a true co-op game, right? And and as you gain levels, you can just sort of like learn more about this specific Kaiocore. And all of a sudden we get the lore and the story, and who knows, maybe we're friends with the Kaiocore by the time we finish the level 20 hazard.
Just like you become friends with Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly. And you build a little Ewok village in their ear cavity.
Sure.
And you invite your friends because they're all Ewoks.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but not Wicket. I'm Wicket. Nobody else gets to be Wicket.
Okay.
Sticky or otherwise.
What are you referencing?
You're such a sweet summer child.
Okay.
A bunch of Star Wars crap.
Oh, Star Wars. That's why. Yeah.
Okay. Star Wars.
Is it even original? Who knows?
I love this because I have tried to use these gargantuan figures in my games to instill some sort of dread or fear or runaway factor. And because it's D&D, everybody just wants to fight it.
Yes.
And because we're at the table, they assume that they have the tools they need to fight it. And
if it's presented to me, I should be able to defeat it.
You should.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
That's the assumption that players have.
That's your assumption. And that is a commonly held assumption. That's why we have session zeros.
That's what I'm saying, Eric. I'm saying, like, if the common assumption of players is that if the DM shows it to you, you should be able to fight it.
Yeah. I mean, I would say to those people the same thing I say to people whose common assumptions are that the world is flat.
Okay,
we need to have a session
be
zero.
so mean about it. All right, you don't have to be that derivative.
You talk to people.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, that's a really, when you remove the option to fight it by making it a hazard, you change the perspective of the player. They get to interact. Like, well, a lot of us players on this side of the table that I feel like I could speak for online.
Sure,
we're mechanically inclined individuals.
Yeah.
So
every tool is a hammer.
We just want to interact with the game.
I keep fucking that up. Every problem is a nail if you have a hammer.
Right.
Yeah.
We want to that's what the saying is.
Yeah.
And I don't think that saying is appropriate to what I'm trying to describe.
You first.
We want to interact with the game through its mechanics. And oftentimes when you present a monster to people like us, we want to try to figure out, it's like a puzzle. We want to figure out how to defeat it. When you offer up a monster that's not defeatable, like a Kaiocore or a kaiju or something like that, offering it up in a series of hazards and the subsystems makes for a mechanical experience that we can really get excited around and have fun with.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So would you say that the successful implementation of a series of diplomacy challenges would qualify as having mechanics to defeat a creature?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, then we're not on opposite sides of this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Okay, cool.
Nice. So
it was good enough to make both of our lists. I think this
absolutely.
is it's a new place that I would love, like Tree Raiser and Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Yes.
I kind of wish they would have done this for him. They did a version of it where you did a bunch of stuff to reduce his power, but this is exciting to me and I want it in my Pathfinder.
You could almost do both too. Like you could almost do, if you wanted to, have your cake and eat it too, you could have a 30th level or 25th level Kaiocore monster and also have these hazards, because if your party isn't 20th level, there's no way they're even thinking about defeating a monster like this.
Yeah.
But if you needed stats for it for whatever reason, you could give it stats.
Yeah. Imagine you're playing like Secret of Nim or like your intelligent rats living in the backyard under the thorn bush kind of a thing. You know, like a mouse critter game.
Exactly.
Something of that nature. Mouse guard. And the kaiju is actually Farmer Joe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just go ahead and play out the rest of that movie in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't run up and give Farmer Joe rabies and bring him down to 0 hit points and then eat his face. I mean, you can.
I mean, every time I'm like laying in bed and my cats jump on top of my bed and they look at me, they have that experience of like,
this is how I go.
This is exactly like one of my cats is just terrified of my feet. You know what I mean? Like she's always just like running away from me because I have to.
Oh, my pup is the same
these
way.
big stomping feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
big stomping feet.
It makes sense.
I want to hear your number one.
Numero uno is again one of those science fiction creates a monster or a hazard that I didn't realize I wanted.
Okay.
In a game, but now I'm like dying to play in. Paradox 17.
I read it twice and I can't remember any of it. Keep going.
Cool. So Paradox 17 represents the horror of life is a simulation.
Ouch. Okay.
Yeah. So the simulation theory is kind of like, that's what it represents. And what's crazy about it is it's a paradox that when delved into too deeply drives you mad. This reminds me of one of my favorite short stories in a book called The Fifth Science by a popular YouTuber. And in that short story, there is a universe with a bunch of AI, like artificially intelligent beings that all exist and think. And they're basically, imagine just like floating spheroid robots who can do whatever they want, think about whatever they want, and do all the kind of calculations they want in the world. And all of a sudden, there are a random assortment of them that have just committed suicide for no reason. And they're like, what the fuck were they trying to do? What were they doing? So people are curious about that question. They go investigate what they were learning about. Then they begin learning about what they're learning about, and then they begin committing suicide. So they discover a series of questions that are seemingly innocuous, but when delved in deeply enough, begin to unravel.
This is super X-Filesy.
Begin to unravel like the theory of the universe and drive these artificially intelligent creatures mad to the point where they commit suicide. This is what it kind of represents to me. Like Paradox 17 is, if you ask too many questions, if the cat is too curious, they begin to go insane. So what's cool about Paradox 17 is that they have 2 stat blocks for it. It's on page 140. There's 2 stat blocks. There's 1 stat block for a follower or sort of like an investigative person who's investigating Paradox 17. They're like an alkalite or whatever, and they're going crazy. It's called a paradoxical solipsist.
Okay.
That's a hard one for my dyslexia to read. And it's a level 9th creature. They can do things like perceive unreality. And then they give Paradox 17 a creature entry.
The actual Paradox 17. Okay.
Which doesn't, what does that even mean? What do you mean this idea has a creature entry? How is it a creature to begin with? It's a unique level 22 creature. Ooh. Unique medium aberration.
So we got ourselves some Starfinder Mythic.
As Paradox 17 is normally invisible, most recorded observations of it start with hearing a roar, like static from a dead signal. All reports mention a profound yet hard to place sense of meaningfulness. One survivor saw it illuminated by a blast of light she described as a spiral galaxy made of shining eyes and glass feathers. Another described it as dozens of interweaved wings scattered with embers. The only thing consistent about Paradox 17, however, is how deadly it can be when confronted directly.
That's its own thing, isn't it? Like if you do a campaign in Starfinder and you pull that into it, is there anything else? This feels like the hero flavor in a dish.
The hero flavor in a dish.
Yeah, when you're making like, I don't know, a soup or something like that, you can't just throw an equal amount of all the ingredients in there.
There's a prominent and then a sub.
Exactly, right. What's the hero flavor? Right. I can't imagine this thing running second to anything else. Like if you have like a Space Devils game and then this, I don't know. It just feels like this is the top.
Proposal.
There's something out there and you find out what it is.
This is a sidebar. And then you kill yourself. Yeah. Proposal. Conscious consensus reality, which this is getting into Warhammer 40K Orc territory too, which I love. Okay. If we convince Paradox 17 that something false is true, will it become true? If, as we suspect, Paradox 17 is a form of wishcraft magic run amok or unstable fragment of progenitor eldest, then in either case, the result should transmission terminated at origin. That's a sidebar entry that I love. Urgent memo to all researchers. Until further notice, Paradox 17 is never to be defined in objective terms under any circumstances. Describe it only in indirect observations. No one is to hypothesize. My dyslexia is not misreading this. Hypothesize about Paradox 17's nature of origins in text or verbally. One of my favorite podcasts of all time.
Welcome to Night Vale.
Is Welcome to Night Vale.
Yeah, of course. Oh, how did I not make that connection?
This just screams Welcome to Night Vale on so many levels.
All of a sudden, I'm cool with all the Cthulhu shit now.
Yeah.
I love that show so much.
I do too. It makes no sense and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's delightful.
So yeah, Paradox 17, it gets its own monster entry, which is weird. What's hilarious is, every monster has a photo.
Yeah.
The photo of Paradox 17 is just a table with documents on it, like written pictures of aliens on it and coffee cups. One of them is knocked over and a pad with like the Matrix lines running on it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is so fucking cool. Like this one creature I could make. These two creature entries and these sidebars is the beginning and the end of an entire adventure from levels 1 to 20.
I feel,
and that's why it's my number one, because it's such a powerful idea.
It is, yeah.
It can be its own adventure.
It can. I'm starting to feel this. I'm thinking as I go here. In Pathfinder and high fantasy tabletop role-playing games in general, there are two places my brain goes, and I don't like putting them together. I like the prime material game where everything begins, middles, and ends and has to do with the prime material plane, what's going on here. And then there's the planar game where you go to heaven, hell, Dante's Inferno, just all of the outer planes and the inner planes and the spheres and all that crap. I like that to be its thing, beginning, middle, and an end. I don't like it when they kind of try to combine. It just feels slapdash. And the reason I bring that up is this feels like the Starfinder equivalent of that for me, where everything you just described, the Paradox 13, feels like 17, the gateway into a sci-fi version of the planar experience, the planar game. So that, and you're learning things that cannot be unlearned, and we can't speak to it, and he who should not be named, and poof, we're in Abaddon. I like the conspiracy theory vibes this brings. I like the space planar vibes that this thing suggests. And I like the those of us here on the Prime, we can't look at it head on, but we still need to investigate it. So we got to come at it slant.
Two things. One, I want to point out that the number 17 is a prime number, and also the number 13 is a prime number. 13 midwives. Prime numbers are important. I like prime numbers.
Red string.
And then I'm realizing just now in this moment as we're talking about these ideas that the occult, we have four
traditions of
magic. Occult stuff has never really...
It's never had its own thing.
It's never really sung to me in Pathfinder. Like, I was always like, oh, okay.
It's Diet Arcana.
This is just like your... This is your...
Soft magic as opposed to hard magic.
I was going to say like your bucket that you throw all the shit you don't know where to put it in.
That too.
It's your it's your just drawer of random...
Yeah. We don't have a structure for this. It's a cult.
It doesn't fit. Yeah, it's weird. Put it over there with the weird kids. all the weird kids stand on the other side of the
Don't look at it. You'll get removed.
Exactly. Because to me, occult in Pathfinder has always represented magic that didn't make any sense, or magic that wasn't structured, or magic that, like, the way I like to describe it is like arcane magic is the programming language of the universe, and occult magic are cheat codes for that program that aren't supposed to work, but they do. Like, you take this thing and you balance it on your head and you rub your belly, you cast fireball. What? How? Why? Doesn't matter. It just does. And that's what's important.
You like bards though, right?
Yeah. And that's why I've never understood why they're occult. But they don't fit into primal. They don't fit into any of the other three. So that's why I think in Pathfinder, occult magic is more of like the drawer.
Like a miscellaneous?
Yeah, that misc drawer that we all throw random shit into that just, accumulates.
I can't find my rubber band ball
batteries
anymore.
And shit like that. But in a science fiction setting, for some reason, the occult starts obtaining identities that make perfect sense to me, like Paradox 17.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up watching the X-Files.
Yeah. Twilight Zone is all about this.
Exactly.
Okay. So we have...
Occult's more interesting to me in Starfinder, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So what I'm hearing you say is Starfinder has a lot of things that you typically get rubbed wrong by in Pathfinder, which is why you're going to start running a bi-weekly Starfinder game for a few of us.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
Thinking about it.
How hard are you?
I put these on the table. I forgot to talk about them at the beginning of the episode. I recently went to a convention. I'll talk about these more at the beginning of next episode so they get the real shine.
I want to know how hard you've been thinking about it. So on a scale of 1 to 1, how likely is this to happen?
Oh my God, Erik, stop.
1 being yes, it's going to happen.
Okay. 2.
I hate you so much right now.
I know. 13.
Can I do my number 1?
13. That's where I'm at on the scale.
I want to talk to like the 3 goblins out there who like this IP.
2, 5, 7, 11, 13.
Maybe. Okay.
Those are all prime numbers.
If you're with me, type it out. Come to Discord. I need to geek out because I never get to about this.
Aww.
So, number 1, I'm calling my Babylon 5 pick.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
Hand in face. Here we go. He's about to rant about Babylon 5 for the next Checks Watch 30 minutes.
Why don't you get back into your...
all right.
What do you call it? Your backseat chair.
I'm ready. Hit me.
For the longest time, I've been wanting to have some sort of like a D&D in space game that felt like the space opera that was Babylon 5. And it just never happened. I know Mongoose Publishing did their thing, but no.
Way to dismiss an entire publisher, but no.
This singular book makes it so that I feel like it's feasible to do something like that, like a space fantasy version of B5. And 3 specific things I'm going to point to. So,
what's your pick? Hold on. Before we go any further, what is the pick? I swear to God, if your pick is the entire book.
It's a collection of 3 creatures together where you can replicate the Babylon 5 experience.
They're at least actual creatures. Please go on.
And when you add the robots and other things in here,
go on.
It just works. Okay, so the first one, we need the Vorlons, we need the shadows, and we need this concept of remote machines, essentially. So if you put all 3 of those together, you get Babylon 5 because everything else is already there.
Okay.
So the Eledrian, these are these insectoid. I call them Thri-kreen in space.
Yeah.
So the Eledrians will be the stand-in for the shadows in this case. They're Thri-kreen Cylons with ooze interests. Is how I just describe it. There are 3 different entries for these Eledrians. They have their own language. They have their own trait in the back of the book. So they're clearly important and of cosmic significance. If they're our stand-in from the shadows, and they're also deep underground, right? Mm-hmm. And that's another part of the shadow lore.
Okay.
We learn in Babylon 5. The next one is the Ogulthu. This is my stand-in for the Vorlons, and I'll probably get some pushback on this, but I'm going to stand by it. Number 1,
stand by it, Erik,
because they're all about tentacles. And I mean, come on, if anybody's ever seen a Vorlon cruiser, you have to agree with me.
I've never seen this show, by the way. I know.
This is one of those shows where if you don't understand how to absorb it, you think it's stupid and dated and totally 90s and not worth going back to.
Okay.
But talk to me first, and I will guide you into your first
episode. Is this one of
episode.
those pieces of media where if I watch it, I'll understand you at a deeper level?
No, because you won't have the context that you'll need in order to go into
Erik, in your context.
Yeah. How much Shakespeare have you read in your life?
All right.
If you don't have a background of Shakespeare, then...
Bro, I'm a fake nerd.
The stage play presentation of Babylon 5... it just looks ham-fisted and stupid.
I haven't even read I haven't even read the Lord of the Rings, dude. I'm a fake nerd through and
I haven't
through.
either, to be fair.
Oh wow.
So if we have our Alendrians, there are stand-ins for the Shadows. The Ogolthu are our stand-ins for the Vorlons, and we've got these war remote machines, which if you look at the art, it looks like really cool stand-ins for both Shadow and Vorlon vehicles. The art they use for it. There's also a lot of Earth Force kind of quality. I swear to God, so much of this just screams Babylon 5. It's almost like the writers had gone through like Star Trek, B5, BSG, just all the big names before going, these are the small handful of creatures we're going to use for our launch title for the monsters.
They must have. I mean, like when you write a book like this,
too many similarities.
Of course they're going to make monsters that for the inspirations in science fiction that we love.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised we don't have more Warhammer esque monsters in here.
Yeah, that's probably coming because that was something somewhere down in my notes I wanted to talk about, like the ratio of different kinds of angels to different kind of demons, devils, daemons, and I forget what the other one is. But the what was it you just said? The Warhammer. Yeah. The whole idea of like 4 types of chaos, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The that's got to be in the next one.
Yeah,
because the planar shit isn't in this book.
Barely. Yeah. Barely.
So that's cool. I've said everything I need to say about the Babylon 5 portion of this. I like what they did with the Ogolthus in Starfinder as opposed to what they did in Pathfinder.
What's the difference?
So the Ogolthus are like, they're masterminds and their plans cross millennia. They're just ancient. They're old. They're these primordial intellects from deep beneath the sea, right? So that's Pathfinder. In Starfinder, they're still that, but they all got on board some ships and said, great old ones, where are they? So they go beyond time and space to go have a war with Cthulhu way out there. And then only a fraction of them came back. And they're still fighting the war. The whole fucking ancestry kind of went out together more or less. And not many of them came back.
Interesting.
The ones that did are continuing the fight, but they're also shitbag Ogolthus. You know, we still don't like them.
Yeah.
But they are the most powerful. I'm thinking that might be what they're trying to do here. They are the weapon we need. And I hate that we need them. The devil we know to fight against the devil we don't know.
Oh.
These great unknown ones.
Interesting.
And Ogolthus, I'm just going to read this right here real quick, just to give you some background. Long ago, this species of aquatic occultists, here we are again, departed lost Galarian towards distant stars. Ogolthus physically manipulated other creatures in eras past in a long experiment that ultimately failed. That's a cool little bit of lore for those of us in Pathfinder. They embraced nanotechnology to adapt their bodies for interstellar travel and sailed into the void of space inside living ships. Ogolthus learned to use their nanites to control biotech remote war machines or shells as surrogate bodies. This is also shadow technology in a sense. They rarely puppet after other thinking creatures when they're in need of a host body, and many modern Ogolthus consider doing so anathema. Their societies are hierarchical, fiercely competitive. In theory, any can rise to a position of power, but getting there is a struggle, blah, blah, blah. So they all got into their little cosmic caravan and got their asses handed to them. These are powerful creatures in Pathfinder, and in Starfinder, even more so. So I love the fact that I can finally have my B5 fantasy realized using the 3-action economy and everything that Starfinder has brought. But I also love this idea of what can you do with an Ogolthu in Pathfinder that hasn't already been done before? Even in D&D 2nd edition, you still had Ogolthus. And the whole Night Below campaign setting was sort of like, how can we do an Underdark story without a Drow being the big bad guy? Or Lolth being the big bad guy?
Right.
That's kind of when Ogolthu really started to, their star was on the rise. And by the time we got to like the Lost Ruins of Azlant, that adventure path in 1st edition, I don't know about you guys, but I was kind of Ogolthu'd out because it just seemed like the same thing over and over and over and over again.
They definitely were a major antagonist.
They were, but the same kind of antagonist. It was always some sort of Manchurian candidate storyline they were going for.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You never saw any other kind of story. You know, if you have an Akashic dragon, that doesn't mean that everything has to be about knowledge. That's just the theme going on. But with the Ogolthus, you're looking for the Cylon. That's always their story. And it's just, it felt really one note after a while. If there's any counter examples, please, I want to know them because I love the idea of these guys. I feel like I will enjoy this specific type of creature better in Starfinder than I do in Pathfinder. And I say that about almost no ancestry.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I've realized after going through this book that I'll enjoy more in this Starfinder science fantasy setting than I could ever enjoy in Pathfinder.
Isn't that strange? Did you notice there were things that were in Starfinder that were not in Pathfinder? Like you and I had a conversation at some point about the difference between the undead classification of creatures and the spirit classification of creatures.
Yeah, recently when I was looking up,
kind of stuff like that.
Sanctification.
There's no Tane in here, and I guess I get that because that's
is
kind
there
of a specialized
sanctification
creature.
in Starfinder?
I don't know.
I don't think
but there are sort of like cleric-y things going on.
Yeah, but I don't think there's sanctification.
I'm sure at one time we know, but we both forgot.
Okay.
So that's that.
That's your number one.
That was my number one.
That's the end
Do
of the
you
pod.
have a favorite like quote in this book? Did something so hilarious that you went, I need to remember to say this to Eric when we're on? Because every single one of these books we do, there's usually one piece of verbiage that just cracks us both up.
I don't know about cracks me up, but I'm really, really like the Paradox 17 thing. That proposal,
that's pretty top notch.
The proposal consensus reality where it goes like fragment of a progenitor eldest. Then in either case, the result should, and then the cuts out. Yeah. I love that.
No,
that's awesome.
That's chef's kiss in space. Mine is not nearly as cerebral as that.
Kiss in space.
It's the Gremlins. Cruel.
Oh yeah, the Gremlins, dude. The Gremlins.
That's another elemental type thing where like, sure, we had it before, but now it just makes sense in a sci-fi context. Yeah. So Gremlins, cruel and mischievous fae. Gremlins have acclimated to life in the universe. That is such a delicious, understated, oh, fuck.
We still got Gremlins.
The trouble with tribbles.
Dude.
So, that's my favorite quote. My favorite pieces of art in here are the Akashic dragon, the adult one specifically that we talked about. And something I'm totally going to butcher. It's the juvenile Niceholdra on page 124. You want to flip to that real quick? Take a look.
I'm actually almost there.
Okay.
126. Oh, yeah. So the Niceholdra are like the Tyrannosauruses of the elf world, right?
Something like that. Yeah. So the whole dinosaur dragon thing on that specific planet is interesting. Continue.
Anyway, yeah. Formians and Lashuntas of Castrovel. So they're on Castrovel.
Yeah.
So the baby version of him is 11th level, is a 4th level creature. And then they grow up to be an 11th level T-Rex with 10 eyes or whatever. It's literally just a T-Rex with like razor blade hands.
There he is.
Yeah.
There he is.
With like 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 eyes. He's so cute.
He's a Tyranid. You see those arms?
Oh, yeah. I can kind of see that. Yeah.
So, the idea of
Purple,
like taking bugs, like the Tyranids, like Starship Troopers,
mixing with dinosaurs,
and then using the dinosaur angle.
Yeah, I love it.
All of a sudden, I'm interested again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's just a 7-year-old in me. So, I'd like to end this with dinosaurs. Are cool. Yeah. Dinosaurs in space.
Dinosaurs are fucking rad. Absolutely.
With razor arms.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Goblins. We appreciate you and all your time. Thanks for hanging out with us. Check out the Patreon. It'll be linked in the doobly-doo. Eric's going to be running some games.
I'm going to run some games. Shenanigans.
And hopefully we can turn that into a full-time thing.
Yay!
Thanks for hanging out with us. And as always,
keep it weird.
Keep it weird.